Hello everyone. I think I got it. I keep on trying to, I haven't done live for quite a while, so I keep on trying to do it and it just keeps on turning around and showing my back part, which is my window that gives me such light. And so anyways, all I came on here to share with you is that I've been a bit busy. Sometimes I'm not feeling well. I've been seriously changing my diet, but at the same time, some of my chronic issues have been coming up. And I do have an order for a rag wreath, and this is a dusty rose one, and this is almost done. All I need to do is just finish attaching and doing a couple little final trim touches here and there on this wreath. And it will be done and it will be going shipping. And then at the same time, I've been working on a second one right over there. This one over here is a little bit smaller, but not really. It just looks pretty close. And the one over on that side I'm working on is a little bigger. But the one on the right, I'm going to be finishing it up. I'm hoping I'll finish it up. And then I'm going to put it in my Etsy shop. This one is going off to a customer. They ordered a custom order, but for some reason this customer is not contacting me about specifics, so I've been sending photos, but getting no real interaction with this customer. So it's going to be going out. So I'm going to finalize placing all those flowers on. Yes, all the flowers are handmade, and this one is mixed with upcycled materials, vintage materials, and new materials. So some people who've watched me, I've been in a upcycler's site because I love to upcycle fabrics and things like that. The doily you see right there is actually upcycled doily. I found it at a thrift store and then I actually dyed it. And now I'm been placing pieces of it into different heart wreaths. And then I have a lot of parts of this piece are upcycled. And I would say like within my wreath, you can see here, that's a piece of a um a fabric, and this one is not upcycled, actually new, probably previously owned new fabric. And then I have some dusty rose. I actually carry this dusty rose nice lace in my Etsy shop if you're ever looking for it. And this one is made from this flower is made from a brand new fabric, which is something I carry in my shop. I carry that in my shop, which is a one of the wide mesh fabrics I have, fabric laces I have. The same with that one. Actually, this mesh fabric I cut it into like thirds, and then I was able to make three flowers out of that one third, which was this one. And then I used pieces to make that one. I had another one, but I didn't put it on the wreath. Some of the things you see in here are actually upcycled. Like this used to be a curtain right here that I've placed in here, and this is vintage fabric. This is something new I actually carry in my shop, and I love placing this in my wreath because I love how it's all um, twirly and swirly and then delicate at the same time. This one is the green. I have two greens. I have a lime green, and then this is more of an avocado green on the edges. But I have different colors, and it makes a really pretty messy bow. But it's actually elastic, and I love it. And then there's some beads which are new, of course. Those ones are new. Sometimes I will use jewelry. And here's some doilies I've used, but really, this is what it's came out like. If you see, I put a lot of things in it. Here in this corner, you'll see this is a vintage lace I cut up and put it in there. And this is a vintage fabric. This fabric right here, there's several vintage fabrics here. Vintage. And I just put it all around and I do two layers. Most people ask me, well, what do you use? And when I first started crafting, I used a piece of a flat board and I just started designing around it. But now I use a metal wreath form. So if you want to make your own, I use a metal wreath for now, but still use the same type of a as the videos I have up. I have some tutorials up for wreath making. I use the same technique except I'm using a metal form, so it's thicker, it has more layers. This particular one is the first time I used a Hobby Lobby 14-inch wreath, and it makes it around 16 to 18 inches wide this way, and then as long as you want to make a tail, if you make a tail. And then the one over here is actually using a Dollar Tree wreath, which I'm finding that if you're going to do your own, I know people like the Dollar Tree ones, but it is a little more difficult to use because the Hobby Lobby wreath has thin, they're thin and they stay about the same size. The wires stay about the same size all the way through. Whereas the Dollar Tree one has it wide up here on the top, and then you have to mess around with making sure things look full. That one is not completely done, so it's still missing more. It'll be getting more on top, but it is a little more difficult to work with because then your pieces start falling over. So if I were you and you want to try and do this for the first time, you want to make a heart, the heart would be the I suggest you try using the dollar no, the Hobby Lobby heart. This is, I think, a 14-inch. And what I did on mine, because it only has the Hobby Lobby, let me get the Hobby Lobby one. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I get it for you, show you, because I know these are the questions I have most of the time is what do I use? And normally I will use the Dollar Tree one, but I actually found that I liked this one. This is the Hobby Lobby wreath form. Yep, there. And let me get the tag. So this is for those of you who want to try to make your own. It cost me $3.49, and if you look around here, let's see. I'll make sure I'm telling you the right size. Let's see. It says, it doesn't say a size on there, does it? Let's see if it says, oh, there it says, oh, it's not 14-inch. It's a 12-inch. It's a 12-inch one. And the suggestion I have for you if you're trying to make your own is what I did on this one is I placed, let me see if I can put this up here so I can point to it. So along this edge of the wreath form, I placed some all the way around. And along these two, I placed it. So it's double layered because the back layer, and what I usually do is on the back layer, on this back layer, I place a lot of the things, the colors I want to use, but maybe things that are not, and I place the nicer stuff up in front. So the more lacy stuff and the more colors. And I'll use a lot of times I'll place the same fabrics, but I'll place more of a fabric that, I don't want in front. I kind of use that judgment. And the lengths, you guys have to figure out your lengths yourself. Every time I do it, I choose different lengths. I cut my fabric, the length of the fabric, and then I kind of cut it in as even as I can, and I kind of disperse it around. The shorter ones on top and a little bit longer on the sides. And then I use some long strips on the bottom. It's all mixed. It's not anything that is standard. I can't even do a tutorial on it. Although I am going to try. I'm planning to use people keep on asking me for tutorials, so I keep on getting asked to do a tutorial. So I decided that I'm going to try using these small ones from Dollar Tree. Oops, the two-piece wreath form, and then it's small. And I was thinking if I have never made one on this, but I think I'm going to, and I'll probably use a similar process to that one, but I'll make it using supplies, and I'll make about 10 of them or so, and then sell it as a kit with the tutorial so I can show you how to do it, how I do it, and then it'll all be measured out. I'll tell you what sizes to make stuff, but that's going to be a while. It's going to take me a while to do that. A lot of people want to know, but it's like, to me, it's an art. So this will be like, I will artistically create something that's smaller here with the small one, and you'll see how I basically work through the art. Then you can start making it your own. But one of the things for you who are resellers, um, these are very slow moving. If you're trying to sell a wreath and you want to make a lot of money, you're not going to do that. Other than I do sell these for close to $200 each, but I've been taking days and days and hours working through all of this, making each flower individually, tearing fabrics. So it's long, but for you who want to make something for yourself or as gifts for other people, then it's definitely worth it for you. If you have other friends who enjoy selling these or would enjoy having one in their house, because I have a lot of people who say, I want one, but I can't afford it. That's true. You can't afford it because it takes me a long time to design one. But I know I'm going to try and simplify it in the kit I make. But then kind of when I'm teaching you, maybe tell you ways that you can make it your own and add different fabrics, add things from your stash, things like that. Um, and if you'll notice, I want to show you this one. So this is the Dollar Tree one. If you'll notice all this space, see all the space here. This has a layer here in the back, then the two in front, but it changes width all through here. It changes width and wider, and in here between it changes the width. So you have to keep that in account when you're doing the Dollar Tree one. That's why I suggest you choose one that looks more like this one for your first time. And if you want to do it using the Dollar Tree one, I really don't think it's worth the $2 you save, because this one, what, 350 for this wreath. Maybe you could find them on sale. I don't know when they usually have wreath parts on sale, but you could probably find them online. But it doesn't cost that much for what you're going to make out of it. You could see how large it looks comparatively. Let me get my measuring stick out. So this one was supposed to be a 16-inch wreath, and it actually came out a little bit bigger. I thought it would make a 16-inch. I might be able to use a 12-inch one to do that. Let me see if I could do better than that. Okay, so it is probably closer to 18. Yeah, it's closer to 18, and that one's going to be closer to 20. So it'll be a little bit bigger. So that's going to be a little bit bigger. This will be a little bit smaller. And I think I'm going to look for another wreath form like this one, but maybe a 12-inch, see if I can find that. And then I'll make them smaller. And then I can actually put smaller ones and larger ones in my shop. The price is really going to go down only based on the fabric and all the pieces I use. And what I use are very not expensive stuff. I use things like this lace right here that I used on this. Let me get this off. What is a lace I carry in my shop. It's not that expensive. It's one of the lower price laces I have. And I want you to go look for them because it's beautiful. If you can't find something that I show you in my shop, then let me know and I'll try and find it for you. And then these right here, see this top one? I made a a la Liz flower, and then I just placed on top of it one of the appliques I have in my shop. I love this applique. Looks very vintage. It's got a little glitteriness to it. I have that in my shop. Like I said, this one right here is a fabric that I placed in my shop. Oh, this cameo right here. I am going to place some cameos similar to these ones in my shop soon. It's just when I don't feel well, I don't like to list. So I most of the times if I don't feel well, I'd rather be more creative. I suddenly got a burst of energy because I think I'm having some, although I feel better in many ways with changing my way of eating, I have complications like that are affecting me. And one of the things I had to ask some of my people are, do you guys want to see? I'm going to probably, I have two things I'm planning to do in my videos, slightly changes. One is I want to start sharing some of the rug making I'm making because people keep on asking me how to make them. And then I might talk about my changing my diet because I really think that a lot of people need to really research, especially if you're diabetic, new ways of taking care of yourself because I've discovered that I feel much better. I feel like at this point in my life, if I wouldn't have changed my way of eating, I would probably be in a hospital bed doing nothing, not unable to share my creativity here. Um, so yeah, if you're looking for something, you say, I want anything you have in this. And maybe I should start like creating listings for you guys where I share, but I'm going to share this video or just the photos in my on my Facebook group. If you don't find me on Facebook, it's easier to ask me questions for me to share photos with you, and I'll share photos on my Facebook group, and then below the photos say, well, what listings did you use? And if you ask me the questions, then I might go ahead take the time to post anything I used in this wreath that I have in my Etsy shop, which are or even things that you could use. So I tear fabrics. I use all kinds. I'll use a vintage sheet, and I'll pick up brand new, never used fabrics from a thrift store that nobody, somebody who was a crafter just put in the thrift store, and I'll buy those, such as the case for this light piece right here. It's gorgeous, and I probably got a couple of yards, but it's very light, and I decided to put it in here. This one I have in my shop, and it looks so vintage, but it's in my shop, and it's a brand new trim, and I love using it in my projects, or just any project. You can use in any of your shabby chic projects. Like I said, these types, I'm going to go ahead and put some of these cameos in my shop. I don't have them in there yet, but if you ask me for them, I might push me a little harder to go ahead and do it. This center is a button, and then I use the same lace right here, and I kind of made it into a flower, and an old vintage doily, and some of that upcycled curtain I turned into an all-Liz flower. You don't know how to make my flowers? Well, I have videos out for them. Here's another one. It's a vintage. It's not vintage. This is a brand new. I had in my shop. I think I'm out of this one. I think I used the last scraps just to use in here. And I have a little piece of a lace that I have in my Etsy shop. And then I carry some of these. Let's see, some of those right there. I carry those centers in my shop. I carry something similar to this in my shop. So a lot of it I do have in my shop, but not all of it, because I don't have this particular doily in my shop, but I sew this doily on. Um, so that's what this time I tried sewing it on with this actual thin lace right here. I used this thin lace to sew it on, and I liked how that worked because I don't know, it blends with the colors better than maybe a white or whatever thick thread I have. I liked doing that. So, and I show you how to make these flowers. So if you have any questions, feel free. Oh, hi. Hi. Oh, thank you, everyone. I didn't see you guys commenting down there, but I'm sorry. I'm just doing this on my own. And, I don't usually go live, but I decided to go live, and so I wouldn't have to mess with it. But I did have an error. So on this one, you can see how the rawness of this is a combination of the back layers and front layers. And then on the top of this, I will add more of the details here. Like I used this here because I think it's beautiful. I added some beads. If you put the beads on too early and not on the top, then they already easily get buried. They get very buried. So, so I'm going to leave this one like this, except all I really need to do this one is I'm going to reinforce each of these flowers. And how do I attach my flowers? Ooh, that's a secret. It's a secret that I will show you guys if you end up purchasing my wreath. I'll show you how I actually do it. Um, but at first, when I first started, I glued them all on. And now I use, I won't show you, but I'll tell you, I do use wires sometimes, thin wires. So I buy bendable wire like for jewelry making, or I'll use the coated one. I try to use the coated ones from the gardening section. You could use that. But I like to try to buy my wires that match my jewelry. So that's your hint. But I'll show you if I do the tutorial, then I'll show you exactly what I do to attach them. And but you can use whatever you want. I find that I enjoy doing it that way. I want my piece to be very permanent, but if you're making it for yourself, then you can do it any way you want. whichever way you like, because then if it messes up, you can fix it yourself. So I hope to inspire you guys to go ahead and make your own, but at the same time, here I am working. I'll be finishing this one up and putting it in my Etsy shop. The last time I made these, they just sell right away, but um, yeah, they're very time consuming. That's why I like to most of the time when I do these wreaths, I'm actually saying 3 to 5 weeks out because that way I can relax and do them and not feel pressured to do it like whenever and I can add my own. The thing about when you're artistic and creative, that when you add pressure to it, guess what happens? Then the joy disappears. So that's why I make sure that I give myself plenty of time. And, well, hope if you guys have any questions, ask after this video, and then I'll go back and check the conversations. And, yes, if I do create a tutorial, or a kit, um, I guess I could start a pre-order list for it. And maybe I don't know, I think I'm gonna make it some kind of pink probably because I don't know, maybe I can make it cream. I don't know. You guys can make suggestions down below what color you think I should make the kit when I do make it. I might be able to make choices, like, make a couple of choices, but I don't know how much in demand it will be. Probably a lot because a lot of people ask me about how do you do it? And they want me to teach them, but I think I'm going to make a kit and do it, as a paid tutorial. All right, thank you everyone for coming and joining me and just seeing what I'm doing today. But I'm going to finish this wreath up so it'll be ready to put in the mail tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys next time.